You know, one of the mistakes we often make is really stated so easily on our lips when we say, I want to live for Jesus. You know, the fact is, none of us can live for Jesus. I mentioned here a week ago that really as Christians, it's really about Jesus living in us and through us. Well, on the day of Pentecost, you know, Jesus came and sent his Spirit to dwell in the hearts and minds of believers and to recreate his image and his likeness that would lead us to that godly behavior that we've been talking about this week. But on that day of Pentecost, as we did that reading last Sunday, you know, the Holy Spirit was poured out generously on that day to believers. And if we could diagram that, you know, it might look a little like this, okay? Excuse my arm waving. But Jesus died, he's resurrected, he ascends to heaven, he sends the Holy Spirit is poured into believers and indwells them, and then that Spirit pours out of us to the world and blesses the world. Now that means that when we arrive at this level of godliness that we're calling godly behavior, that needs to also lead to godly works of serving Christ, serving him, doing those things that will glorify him. And you know, in the Bible, one of the phrases that's often used for the control of the Spirit is a phrase that's called being filled with the Spirit. And you know, I think being filled with the Spirit is not just an emotional experience of where we feel something and our hand starts trembling and our lips start doing confusing things. It really has to do with being under the control of the Spirit of God, who has revealed his truth, transformed our hearts, and given us a hope of heaven. You know, in a way, I suppose we could almost outline this with a little paraphrase of the path to godliness that we've talked about the last 2 weeks. And it's simply saying that to be filled with the Holy Spirit is to have hearts that are filled with his truth. I messed that up. I'm going to start again, okay? It's to have heads that are filled with his truth, hearts that are filled with his passion, and to have hands that are filled with his work. And when that happens, Christian, you are filled with the Spirit of God. And you are not only acting out in godly behavior, you are living out godly works in your day-to-day actions. And I think that's part of our journey, and I hope you get there, okay? God says we'll make it. Hang in there. Bye for now. God bless, and have a great weekend.